Mr. Driggers will be in here in just a couple minutes. Tomorrow, Clay Herman will be in here at 7 o'clock. Police chief will be in at 8 o'clock. But Clay is going to talk about his proposal of changing the form of government. That'll be a fun debate, and you guys can get in on it. And today we're going to talk about, I believe, we're going to talk about television, city board meetings after the meetings, freedom of speech. Is that being derailed or not? But we'll find out when Mr. Driggers comes in here at 8 o'clock. Phone number is always 525-3313, half off Hot Springs. We're going to be Mid-American Museum for Keep On Truckin', which is going to happen Saturday morning from 10 to 2. You're going to want to bring the kids out, $5, all the pizza you can eat. It's going to be a good time out there. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes. KZNG 1340 right here in Hot Springs. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend. St. Patty's Day. Get ready for the green.
This is News Talk 1340, KZNG. Now, Talk of the Town with Dick Antoine.
32 degrees outside right now, folks. On its way to 70 some odd today. And it's going to be gorgeous all week. I've got Dr. Jack with me. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I got Mr. Bob Driggers with me.
Good morning.
And I disagree with everything they're about to say.
Well, this is going to be fun.
Fun debate. Okay. I invited Mr. Driggers in, Bob, to come in and talk about, you have complaints with the city board for not allowing television to be played after the city board meeting is over.
The public comment section,
right.
Dick, we worked really hard, the Good Government Group, to get a public comment section.
Well, there's always been a public comment section.
No, it wasn't one until June 7th of 2011, and that was done by Resolution R 1176.
Which put it at the end of the meeting.
They originally were going to put it in the middle, but they had an amendment, and they did put it after the
I covered the city board meetings for years, and you could sign up beforehand, and you could talk.
You can talk on any issue.
It was normally right after an issue was being discussed that you could talk, not all the way at the end.
Yes, you can speak on issues for wherever, I guess, that were up for vote or whatever. But
I was there from midnight more than once listening to people talk about different issues, yeah.
For items not on the agenda, then there was a public comment section back in 11, and now they've done away with that.
Tell me where in the rules of whatever it says you have to be on television when the board meeting is over and done. It's finished.
You don't have to be on television, but the Constitution provides, and they've had some Supreme Court cases which address this. If they televise the meeting, then the public comment section is part and parcel of that meeting, and it should be televised as well. If they don't televise it, then there's no obligation to do so.
Well, okay, so would you like to see them just not? Quorum Board doesn't do theirs, does it, Dr. Jack?
Not that I know of.
It doesn't. It's not televised.
No. But if you are going to televise, then you should televise 100%, not just the part that you want to be televised.
But they only televise the board meeting. Right? They only televise the board meeting, the beginning and the end.
That's correct.
And the public comment is after they've adjourned and ended. They've agreed to stay for, 21 minutes, 3 minutes per person, up to 7 people?
That's correct. But no, they established a precedent when they allowed the public comment section to be part and parcel of it, and it was televised as well up until meeting before last.
Okay.
And they stopped that without proper methodology for doing so. In other words, it was passed by a resolution, and it was just stopped because some of the board members said we want to stop it.
Okay. Now, wasn't it, some of it had to do with Mr. Pritchard getting up and just yapping and yelling and screaming about stuff that wasn't even on the agenda?
That's partially correct, Dick. Mr. Pritchard got up and asked the city council not to pass a resolution of support for the college tax.
And that wasn't on the agenda?
Now, that's correct.
Right, okay.
But the city board has done that sort of thing before, passed resolutions of support for certain taxes and so forth. So it was related, and he was not just ranting and raving.
But that wasn't up on the agenda, was it?
No, it wasn't on the agenda. That's why the public comment section is there. And apparently a couple of the city board members took offense to what he said, and even went so far as to say, oh my gosh, that could impact that tax election. So they basically said we need to quell his free speech so the public doesn't get swayed by it. Don't tell me that's not what
They
happened.
didn't impede his free speech. He can speak all he wants. He can put it in the paper. Freedom of speech is, we're talking, but it doesn't have to be televised. I could turn you off right now and just say, hi, you can talk all you want.
That's basically what they did. As a matter of fact, in the newspaper yesterday, Dr. Jack had an analogy. I'd like him to share it with
Okay,
you.
go for it.
Well,
I disagree. No.
that's fine.
Rules of Robert. Robert, no.
You know,
Rules
first of all, if you push the button and turn this off right now, I would say the same thing to you. So that you're infringing upon freedom of speech. But, I take a slightly different view of this than Bob does. I think that I'm not coming at it from a legal standpoint as much as what's right and wrong. I first question, what is the board afraid of that might be televised where the people could actually hear the comments? They're shutting off the simple ability of the people of Hot Springs, if they desire to hear the comments, to watch it. Now, you could say, well, they could all come down to the meeting. What if they don't have a car? I mean, the point is that it is being televised already. It doesn't cost any more for them to have 21 more minutes. And as I said at the board meeting that night to the directors, it can't be because you're upset about what you might hear, because sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never harm me. What are you afraid of?
But they are hearing what the board, they're directing their comments to the board.
Actually, I think that people are directing their comments to the board and to the people of Hot Springs. Otherwise, the people of Hot Springs would only hear what the board has to say, not what other citizens have to say. That's what's being infringed upon, is the simple ability of the citizens of Hot Springs to hear another opinion and also new information about other issues that doesn't get brought up by the board. I said in the meeting, I said it's the old question. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one in the forest, does it make a noise?
Right.
Well, the point is, it's the same thing here. If people are making comments, but the people of the city can't hear it, do they really have the freedom to hear? They may have the freedom of speech, but they don't have the freedom to be heard.
Well, but they do. I mean, they're talking to their elected representatives.
But part of those comments are that the elected representatives may not be doing the things that the majority of the people in the city would want their elected officials to do. So this is a way to allow the people to get onto the board of directors and say, we disagree with you. Otherwise, they would never hear the disagreement.
But they are hearing the disagreement because they could say, okay, you guys can talk all you want because the board meeting's over, right?
That's correct.
And they could all get up and go out in the other room.
Dick, when we finally got this public comment section on the agenda by resolution, one of the points we made when we were arguing to get it on there is the city could have saved almost $3 million if they had been listening to the public instead of only staff. The water treatment plant that they knew could not be built and would not be built, they kept wasting money on it. But the public didn't have a forum to speak or even tell them about it.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air on the BMA Heating and Air Hotline.
Okay, what they're talking about is, you heard Glenn Beck talk about Agenda 21. That's probably part of it right there.
Yeah, we're all in do you know what a 21 is?
Yeah, I know what it is, but I'm not sure that I understand how it applies to our discussion.
It doesn't. Everything is a conspiracy.
Well, sometimes conspiracies turn out to be true.
Sometimes it's just a cover-up, Dick.
Well, there's nothing to cover up. I mean, if you want to hear what's going on at the city board, take a little butt, pick it up, take it down there.
If they passed a resolution to allow this, why didn't they pass a resolution to rescind it?
So
why did they
you have no
why?
trouble if next meeting they come up and say, okay, we're gonna change the resolution. And
They should at least allow the public to see how they stand on it by taking a public vote.
okay, all right. Well, we'll see if they'll do that. I'm sure some of them are listening. Okay, take a public vote the next meeting, put it on.
Yeah, I hope not only they're listening, I hope they'll show up at the Garland County Library this evening at 5:30 because they've all been challenged to a debate.
Now,
Dick, the other thing is that we have freedom of the press.
right?
And I said
I'm giving it to you.
Well, freedom of the press in the sense of newspaper. I said the other night that, what if the board of directors had the power to tell the Sentinel Record that they could publish their newspaper, but they couldn't deliver it to your door and they couldn't put it in the boxes. And everyone, if you wanted a Sentinel Record, had to drive downtown to pick up a copy and put their 50 cents in the box outside the building. Everybody would be screaming, "This is too onerous. This is too difficult. Why can't I have it delivered to my house?" It's the same thing. I want to see the public comments delivered to my television because it's more convenient and more likely that more people will see what is going on in the city.
Well,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Maybe they ought to have just a day or an evening where public comment about it, whatever you want to talk about, is just put on the radio.
That would be nice
Or
too.
put on television and not have any board meeting at all.
Well, you can try to get that done. But right now we have one issue, 21 minutes that is being denied to the people on television.
Where did they come up with 21 minutes? 7 people.
That's 7 people speaking 3 minutes each, and I don't know.
Is there
It's an arbitrary number.
Is there normally 7 people there speaking?
No, it's typically 1 or 2 at the most, but we haven't spoken on any issue, I think maybe 1 since this thing was enacted, but at least the people have the right to. You know, why do they call it a public meeting if they don't allow the public to hear everything that happens?
Because it's a public meeting for the meeting. This isn't the meeting. This is after the meeting.
Then let's call it a private meeting, Dick.
Well, it's not a private meeting. You guys get up and talk amongst yourself or whatever, but it's not part of the meeting itself.
No, it's basically a scripted meeting. They have an agenda meeting for the purpose to determine what they're going to say at the public meeting.
You can go to the agenda meeting. It's just like the JPs. They go to they have their quorum court meeting. You can't get up and talk at that one.
And by the way, the quorum court, I've never been to one where the public wasn't allowed to speak. Never.
Oh, I've been
They
to
don't
it.
have a
and-
specific public comment section, but they always allow the public to speak.
Oh, I've been to it, and no, that's not the agenda. Let's take a phone call real fast. Good morning, you're on the B&A Heating and Air Hotline.
I don't think they got you on the hot seat, don't they?
No, I'm fine.
This is Robbie.
Yeah.
I believe is representing a member of the masses of the constituents that took our time, even took our time off from work and lost salary to go and vote for these aldermen.
They're not all of them in their city.
Well, you know, the district representatives, what do you want to call them?
Yeah.
They have responsibility as us taking our time to put them in a position to hear us. You know, what's the use of speaking to somebody?
But wait a minute, they do hear you. It's just not on television. The city board that you elected sits there and listens
Well,
to
it's
everything you say.
understandable. Have you ever watched British parliamentary procedure where one side yells to the other?
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey,
They have fist fights.
Some people want to hear that.
Yeah, it's something
So there.
drastic.
I'm gonna listen.
Okay, we got to take a break. 525-3313. Change of city government could solve the problem. No, that could cause a problem. Are you for city?
No.
Well, go ahead. You're on the air. Are you for the change
Oh, I
of
thought
government?
you said we were taking a break, so
No, well,
I was
we're
taking
going
a
to.
break too. But no, as far as the change of city government, I think you're going to see a lot of people vote for a change if this particular board continues down the path they're going right now, because if they're not willing to listen to the
The
public,
board's only been there
then that's
2.5
one way to
months.
get rid of them.
Board's only been there, what, 2.5 months?
Yeah, not very long.
Yeah. Right, they're getting their feet wet. Good morning. They're getting their feet wet, Doc? Be back in just a moment. Well, right to the phone line to talk to Carol Lacey. Good morning.
Good morning. What a fabulous day.
I got 3 old farts here in the studio, all gray haired. We're all over 62. We're ready to go to sleep. You got a bedroom?
I do, and I'll even treat you to lunch.
Oh, I like that.
We would love to have you come by.
All you got to do is call 767-1200.
That's right. I have a studio apartment and a 1-bedroom, both in assisted living and in independent living. So I would love to share those with
I
someone.
need the studio. I don't think I could put up with these 2 guys.
No.
I just want to say that my father was at West Shores for a couple of years, and they just did a wonderful job. They were just terrific
They
there.
really are good.
Oh, I love you. Who have I got on the line?
Dr. Jack Sternberg.
Oh, wonderful.
I don't know if you remember Max.
Well, I don't, but I've been here almost 4 years, so I'm thinking that was before I came.
Yes, it was.
What a wonderful compliment. I don't need to say any more, Dick.
That's right. It doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't.
767-1200.
That's it. Let me treat you to lunch.
All righty, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, where were we?
You see, I can say something nice.
Yeah, where were we?
We were talking about, at the break, I asked you the question, and I asked the public to hear the question, why? Why did the board of directors, after 2 years of allowing televised public comment, suddenly decide that they no longer wanted to have it televised? I mean, one has to really ask the question, what's the motivation?
New board of directors.
So what?
Well, I mean, some board of directors, the new ones, maybe they decide they don't want to do that.
Well, then the next thing is maybe they'll cut off public comment during the session. I mean, they're not dictatorial. I mean, this is a democracy. I mean, people want to be heard, and not just by the board of directors. I mean, is the board of directors frightened of some of the things that the public might hear if it's televised during the public comment section? That's the only bottom line answer you could give, because otherwise it doesn't cost them any extra money for 21 more minutes.
Well, what do you think is the reason?
I think I'm pretty sure the reason is they didn't like what Mr. Pritchard had to say. And he was talking about a city-related issue, because the city typically...
It's a county-related issue.
Well, the city will adopt a resolution of support or non-support for certain items. He was simply asking them, don't support the county tax.
For Garland County, for the community college?
Yes.
Okay. Now, why would he ask that they not do that? Because it's so important to the county.
I don't know why anyone asked.
Dr. Jack,
I don't agree necessarily with it, but he has the right
I
to
think
say
you're making the discussion of George Pritchard too specific. It has nothing to do with George. I mean, there may be one person that gets up there for 3 minutes and says something appropriate or inappropriate, but, the other 6 people might say something appropriate. Why do you cut off the 6 appropriate because one person says something inappropriate?
That's censorship, Dick.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air. B&A Heating and Air Hotline.
Yeah, Dick, are you open to both sides of this discussion? Because it sounds like you're kind of digging your heels in. I mean, they're bringing up some good rationale. I don't have a position either way, but are you open?
The only thing I'm saying is freedom of speech and being able to make comment is not being curtailed whatsoever.
And I agree.
At all. It's just that the board meeting is over, finished, kaput, done, and then people are allowed to talk about whatever they want. The city board has decided that's not going to be on television. They're sitting there listening, so freedom of speech is not.
Are you open to some of the common sense or the rationale these guys are bringing up?
Doesn't make any difference to me. I mean, if I want to watch it, I'm watching. If it's not there, then I'll get my little skinny butt up and I'll go down there and watch.
Dick, let's look at some examples.
Still been against these guys, and I just was wondering if you're open, that's all.
Yeah, I'm always open until I'm closed.
There's only 4 cities left in Arkansas now that Little Rock's changed that have the city manager form of government. And those other 3 cities besides us are Hope, Arkadelphia, and Texarkana. All of those allow public comments. And what about those very progressive cities? The cities of Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, Little Rock, North Little Rock, Maumelle, Camden, Newport, Blytheville, Jonesboro, even the local school districts, Hot Springs, Fountain Lake, allow public comment.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air on the B&A Heating and Air Hotline.
Good morning. It doesn't cost the city anything to televise. And you say you got the freedom of speech.
In essence, it really does.
What?
In essence, it does, because there's somebody that has to run the cameras. And they've got city employees down there that are doing it. So, yeah, there's 21 minutes worth of cost. Yeah, there is a little bit of cost.
Okay, they go to a great expense to put on that 20 minutes extra. But, freedom of speech is fine. But you also got the freedom to be heard. And what's the sense of me speaking to the board of directors?
Because they're the ones that are making the decision of whatever you're talking about.
They don't do anything that they don't want to do. And if nobody hears it, then nobody raises any objection to it. Like when I spoke a couple of times, then some people will tell me that, well, I never realized that before, And so this is very, very important. And, I don't want to see this board going back to where it used to be, very unfriendly and whatever. They don't care about the people, just about what they wanted to get done, and that's it. And these new directors are trying to get it back to where it used to be, and I hate to see that because I like the new board, is much friendlier and much more congenial towards the people.
Okay. All righty, thank you.
Okay.
We're going to take another break. Be back in just a moment. Got Dr. Jack, Bob Driggers with me, and we're cussing and discussing. Well, we're not cussing. I'm not cussing. You guys. Anyhow, if you want to call and get in on this comment, 525-3313. Be glad to hear it. It's freedom of speech. Give me a call. 34 degrees outside, 525-3313. We got about 15 minutes or so left of the show. I've invited Mr. Bob Driggers in, and you brought Dr. Jack. Let's say your last name because I don't want to screw it up.
Sternberg.
Sternberg. I was going to say Sternberg, but I screw up Antoine, so what the heck. And Dr. Jack, and you were not a political animal a year ago.
Oh,
you just turned into a wild
until the group asked me to run for city director, I didn't even know we had city directors. I mean, I had nothing to do with politics. When you're an oncologist and you work 70, 80 hours a week, you don't really have time for very much. And then I retired and just kind of played golf and fished and spent a lot of time with my family and my wife. And then I just
became
gradually
a political animal.
Started hearing issues and realizing how annoyed I was.
Good morning, caller. You're on the BNA Heating and Air Hotline.
Yes, I was part of letting the people speak. The people of Hot Springs to put those city directors in those seats. And
You
mayor.
were,
Yes, I was.
but you're retired. You're an old fart now. Peggy.
Anyway,
I'm kidding,
Um,
Peggy.
it doesn't make any difference. I'm 65, okay?
Oh my.
The point is this. The people want to be heard. And,
They are being heard.
they're going to be heard. They're going to be going to the polls.
Uh-huh.
And we've got a great new city manager, and it's a shame they're doing this to him. The people all over the country want to be heard. They're forming different committees, organizations, political parties. People are tired of being ignored. They elect a representative, and what the representative does to them will be heard.
And they are being heard.
And you know it.
They are. The city board is who they're directing their comments to, are supposed to be.
We fought for this for 3 years so the public could make a comment. It's got a delay on it. There's not a problem at all. If there's something inappropriate for too long, they can be stopped by the mayor and escorted out or whatever.
And that's happened before.
So what?
No, I'm just saying. I just said it has happened. That's okay.
Not doing public
It's
comment.
called freedom of speech. And once you kill the freedom of speech.
They have freedom of speech, though.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Let it on the agenda. Why did they take it off? Who took it off and why? What are they afraid of?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, let the people speak. Because they're going to speak one way or another. And we've got a great...
You must be watching the Bible on TV.
I haven't been watching the board meetings. I've been reading about
Actually,
it.
it's too inaccurate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the Bible thing is inaccurate. Father West was in the other day saying Samson didn't run against the columns and knock them down. He was chained to them. He pulled them down.
And the angels in Sodom and Gomorrah didn't go around with swords.
Good morning. You're on the BNA Heating and Air Hotline.
This audience sees we're not being listened to, and you don't want us to be heard. There's things.
What do you mean? You are being heard.
See how you're arguing with everybody on the phone. We
So
know
I'm
what
allowed
you're
to
doing.
do that.
We know it. Who else? See? Yeah, well, Mr. King, hi.
Mr. King. Who's Mr. King?
Well, she thinks that you're acting like a king.
Oh, Mr. Oh, well, okay. Thanks. Okay, I've never been to put that high up on a pedestal. Now,
Next thing you'll be Pope.
well, hey, I was eligible. I'm a Catholic in good standing. You don't have to be a bishop. You don't have to be anything. You can be just a layperson like me. Okay, change of form of government. You ran for this government.
Yes.
For or against change of government?
Absolutely against change of government. I think that first of all, I have spent a lot of time with David Watkins, and he's almost my hero. I mean, one of the reasons that I'm sad that I did not make it to the city director is I wanted to get to know him better and learn from him and spend time with him. I think having a professional running the city and having a board of directors overseeing that manager, that's the most efficient way to run a
See,
government.
the thing that's scary is I could be mayor and run the whole city.
That's exactly right. That's why I'm frightened to death.
Good morning. You're on the BNA Heating and Air Hotline, James.
Hey, when you don't get your way, you become a bully, okay? I don't.
What's he saying? It's a he that was talking, trying to change his voice. I don't know.
I think he was saying that if you didn't get your way, you made noise, but we're going to take you out back after the meeting's over anyway, Dick.
Actually, taking a breakfast.
Yeah, we can do that.
No, but somebody has to. It's not any fun if everybody just agrees all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, is that the only thing you don't like about the board meeting is the 21 minutes afterwards?
No, they need to give it the same status as they do the rest of the meeting because it's part of the meeting. As a matter of fact, I was just looking here, the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals actually had a ruling on this. It was White versus City of Norwalk, and they said citizens have an enormous First Amendment interest in directing speech about public issues to those who govern their cities. And they do. And we should hear both sides, not just the board members' sides.
Now, the one nice thing about the city manager from former government and our city manager now, you can walk in his front door anytime and talk to him.
Right.
Have you ever been said no other than when he's in a meeting?
No, we have a fantastic city manager.
And even the
There's
city
no
manager
question,
before,
but
all the city managers we've had have always had an open door
and the city
policy.
board members need to listen to him. Look what happened to the New Harps food store. I mean, they were inviting a lawsuit by saying, you guys can't have water. The city manager was sitting there trying to tell them, we've got to do it.
But the only reason that was tabled one week is because they had promised to give the city board rules and regs of what to allow and not allow, and they just hadn't got those yet. They'd been put on the back burner for months, and they said, look, until you get the rules and regs ready to go, then we'll elect it.
No, it happened simply because we had new board members that thought they knew more than their city manager that had been doing it for 35 years.
Well, we'll disagree on that.
One of the things that I would ask is, why did the 21 minutes maximum of public comments be put after the board meeting ended? Why isn't it part of the board meeting and therefore it should be televised? I mean, how was it arbitrarily placed after the gavel sounds at the end?
If you'd been to board meetings before, when people got up and spoke, it was just chaos.
What I'm just saying is that after all the city business is done, all the agenda, then the public comment should be for 21 minutes, and then the city board of directors should be adjourned. Why is it adjourned and then the 21 minutes starts? It should be, the 21 minutes should be at the end of the meeting and part of the meeting, and then we wouldn't have any discussion about whether it should be televised because it would be part of the meeting.
Well, have you gone and asked them to do that?
Yeah, Dick, you keep saying these things that were just chaos. I challenge you to go look at the last 3 years when they've had this, because these meetings are public record.
Sure.
And the ones that are televised, I challenge you to find any one of them that was chaos. Because everyone I've seen, they were related to
I've
city
been there where
issues, and they
people
were
stood up and yelled and screamed and hollered and all kinds of stuff.
That's not being recognized to speak on the public commentary section. If they stand up and wave signs or whatever, then that's something may have to be dealt with separately. But that's not what we're talking about here.
Good morning. You're on the BNA Heating and Air Hotline.
Good morning again. We desperately tried to get that to be part of the meeting, and just as Dr. Sternberg said, make it the end, the conclusion of the meeting. And the best we could do was to get it after the meeting. And I believe now that it was done as a maneuver to pull it at will.
Now, when was that voted on, Peggy? 3 years ago?
About 3 years ago.
2011.
I mean, we really didn't have any problems with the public speaking at all.
And they still don't have any trouble with the public speaking, do they?
The people want to be heard.
Well, they are being heard.
No, they want to be heard on TV because it is a catalyst for other people, like-minded people, who are concerned about things or have ideas or things to share with the public, with the directors. It helps get things done. As a result of a couple of people, as Well, we did a couple of things. We didn't take action at the city board, but I believe the city attorney and the mayor wrote things down, and they were addressed.
Okay. All right.
There's a purpose for this, and you just can't keep people down. The first thing people do when they try to quiet people is people do things. And that's what's going to happen. They're not going to stand for this. And like everyone is saying, David Watkins is a very good city manager. Why are the board of directors messing it up for him?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. You're on the B&A Heating and Air Hotline.
Hey,
Hi, Mayor.
this is Bruce. I requested for 1 year of public comment tape. And you can FOIA that tape, and you can see that everything has been in order. No one was out of order. Everyone stayed in 3 minutes, and they were all very, very cordial, very, very nice, and nothing at any time was off base or out of order. It is televised. You can see those. I challenge anyone to look back for 1 year and show me anything that was out of order.
Okay, why was it changed?
Because they didn't like what somebody said.
All the board, what was the vote?
There wasn't a vote. It was consensus that we don't want people to say things we don't like.
So it wasn't brought up the board didn't vote on yay or nay to have it done. In consensus, they said we're not going to do it. So the majority agreed?
The majority.
Okay. Was there, other than yourself, was there other people against it?
Other than myself.
You were the only one that was against it. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
And that
If
was
Peggy had been there, there would have been 2 of us.
Are you going to bring it back up to the board to discuss? At
They
agenda,
won't allow that. It won't happen.
at agenda meeting, you can't bring it up?
It won't happen.
He was denied.
I filled out forms twice.
For agenda?
Requesting to be placed on the agenda, and the mayor can tell you that I was denied twice at the last 2 agenda meetings, so they don't want to hear from me.
Okay. All
Period.
right. Well, you can put it on the agenda, can't you, Mayor, or asked it to be put on?
I did, and it won't be allowed.
Okay. Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Is this censorship or what, Dick?
I don't know. I'm going to see if I can get somebody on the other side, I guess you could call it.
Well, I asked you to bring Mr.
Well,
Pauley here today because I would love to debate
Well, I've
it.
got-
Hopefully
I
you'll
have-
show up tonight at the library.
I don't know. I've talked to, I have called Randy. He's called me back twice. I've called him twice. I've been in meeting. He was in meeting. But I'm sure I can get Mr. Polly in.
Yeah,
Good morning.
he's
You're on the
got a
B&A
reason.
Heating and Air Hotline.
Have you ever heard, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, have you ever heard, you know where that comes from?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're allowed to get up and speak. That's just what I don't
You're so
understand.
hard-headed.
Huh?
Never mind.
I'm hard-headed, I guess. 525-3313. Your rights of speaking, Dr. Jack, are not taken away.
Again, Dick, I agree with you. Technically, they are not taking it away, but practically they are.
Okay. Be back in just a moment.
Diabetic.
Kenton, 525-3313. Bennett's Auto Service, one of our great sponsors, Linda and Wayne, they're right down the street on Gulf Links. Go down and got my oil changed. I said, I can't see when the windshield wipers run because, oh, yeah, they're 5 years old. Well, they put new ones on now. I can see. It's just like getting new glasses. It was perfect. So give them a try. Bennett's Auto Service. It doesn't get any better than those guys. If your car breaks down, after I sabotage it today, Mr. Driggers, they'll come pick it up, haul it in, and no, I didn't put sugar in the gas tank. Oh, God, I hope that doesn't happen. No, but give them a call. 623-8906 is their number. All right. You want another comment?
Well, I just wanted to finish by saying these people were elected to represent the people,
Right.
not their own personal agendas. So they need to let the people be heard. I mean, it's that simple, and they need to realize why they're there. This is a representative government, and they're not
Well,
acting
there might
very
be some
democratic.
people, but there
And
might be some people on their side that says, hey, that's a bunch of baloney.
that's fine if they want to adopt a side, but at least have the courage to stand up and vote and say, we're doing this, and this is why we're doing it, instead of doing it in secret.
Now, you're not being published, Dr. Jack.
Well, as of this
This is
moment,
a different-
I've been
a little bit
published
different.
in letters to the editor, every single one that I've sent, and recently I sent one concerning that I believe the public would like to know why it's necessary for Mercy Hospital to be sold to Capella. And I brought up a number of questions, not accusations, questions such as, was it due to mismanagement? Was it due to buying out too many doctors' practices and Health Park Hospital, causing it to be going into the red? Was it due to the fact, not the fact, but I've heard from two different people in power that Mercy in St. Louis requires now that they send $20 million instead of $2 million every year, and that's why they're in the red. But then I also discovered that Form 990 that has to be filled out for nonprofits shows that the last 3 years, Mercy Hospital made $1.4, $1.8, and $4.3 million in the black. So why does it need to be sold? And I'm asking those questions, and I asked the Sentinel Record if they would investigate, and I spoke to Melinda, and she said they were investigating, and so the letter hasn't been published, but that's something that I think that the public also needs to know, is that maybe there's no reason for the hospital to be sold.
Yeah, well, I brought up about they pay too much for practices. They bought too much property.
Right.
And also, I think when Blue Cross Blue Shield, when Health Park filed suit about any willing provider, I mean, they had 20,000 customers, and then they had 5,000. And I mean, and everybody they kept was Medicare.
And Melinda did say to me that when they try to investigate, they get stonewalled. Well, if that happens, I think you put it in your newspaper. We're being stonewalled, and let the public know.
Plus, they also had the FTC was in town 2 days ago, interviewing doctors and so forth. So, they haven't approved it, and now the Pope's got to approve it.
Right.
And now we got a new Pope. He didn't even know it's on the radar. So this could be another year before anything.
Again, this has to do with the public hearing an explanation of the issues and be thoroughly involved in it and having the opportunity. That's what this is all about. The opportunity for the public in Hot Springs to know what's going on, and that shouldn't be suppressed.
And by the way, we're going to allow an opportunity to be heard. Those city board members, if they have the nerve.
$20, this is a commercial.
No, if they have the nerve to show up this afternoon at 5:30 at the Garland County Library. As a matter of fact, we need an impartial moderator if they show up, Dick, or you have
yeah, impartial, right. No, today's Thursday, right?
Right.
No, I'm babysitting the grandkids, I think. Something's going on. Good morning, you're on the B&A Heating and Air Hotline.
Hey, listen, in that closed room, whoever's public speaking, it'll just fall on deaf ears of the board. And I suppose if the meeting's over, they could just get up and walk out. Who cares anyway, right?
Well, they could get up and walk out.
Some
they don't have to listen.
So basically, you have no speech then, Dick. Don't you get it?
Yeah, they do have speech. It's just not on television.
Face it, he doesn't get it.
I don't get it. Now, tomorrow morning is going to be more fun than today, in that Clay Herman will be here, and we're going to cuss and discuss city form of government, which is really scary if we go to change that. And then I also have the new police chief, who's now been here over a year. He will be in at 8 o'clock. They did a great job with that criminal, along with police and fire and everybody else, state police and that, running that guy down.
This chief's doing a great job.
Yeah.
We are blessed to have him.
And Code Red had about 2,000 or 3,000 people sign up for Code Red, which is a warning system, that if you're on water or sewage, you can go to cityhs.com, I think it is, or cityhs, and sign up for Code Red. It's part of what you're paying a $3 fee for, or fine, but a fee. But what it allows is you get, if the trash not being picked up for some reason or whatever, that they can communicate with you. And there was people said, I didn't even know that was available, but they're now getting on it. Right, Dr. Jack?
Maybe somebody could bring that up during the public comment section.
Yeah. We have it on our mobile phones, our home phone, and everything else, and everything starts screaming at once. I mean,
I was in Cape Girardeau one day, and it says, your trash won't be picked up. I'm going, good. I'm not
it's a wonderful service.
No, really.
Wonderful service.
All righty. St. Patty's Day is Sunday. Don't forget, Bo Derek is here. John Corbett is here. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are here. Monty Eberhardt and I, the two largest leprechauns, I call him Flat Tire because he's in the tire business, and me, are going to be leading the parade. They've got 40 entries. The band starts at 7:30. We're going to have the Harlem, is it called the Shuffle? what's the thing where everybody stands up and starts dancing? They're going to do that.
It's called insanity.
Well, it's going to happen at 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon downtown. Then the cheerleaders are going to be. We're going to have kissing of the Blarney Stone at 4:30. Somebody can win $100. So you guys can come down and enter. It doesn't cost a penny to enter. And kiss the Blarney Stone or romance the Blarney Stone the best. What?
I'm going to be snow skiing in Utah. Can't make it.
When are you leaving?
Sunday.
Oh, my God. Well, when's the next board meeting?
Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
Yes, Tuesday.
And you're going to miss it? You're going to be gone, too? Of course, it's...
No, I'm going to be down counting with people.
You know what was really nice? Yeah, oh, God. And I'm already going to tell you, 33,250. I've already made up my mind.
I think
Be
there's
back
going to be
tomorrow.
at least 2 million.
News every hour on the hour.